Today's daf is Masechtas Nedarim Daf Samachalv Amud Aleph. So we are on the fifth line from the top. Third to last word is Iboilu. So the Gemara here is going to clear a Shiloh. The question is, so the Shiloh is like this: Iboilu Amar Yain Shanitayim Yovel Mai. If somebody says, let's say, for instance, he's in the 24th year of a Yovel, so Yovel is 50 years. So what happens if somebody says that I'm asking this wine that I'm going to tell him, this Yovel Zeh. So Mai, Shnas Chamishim Klefnei Chamishim, so is the 50th year, is that considered is that part of the 50th year? Is that part of the Yovel? Meaning it's considered part of the past 49 years, or is the 50th year the Yovel? Is the 50th year part of the next cycle of the counting of 50 years Yovel? So the Gemara is going to try to bring a raya. It's like the Gemara Tashma. I'll bring a raya. Tanya we learned in a raya. So plukta Yehuda Rabbanon machlokes from Yehuda Rabbanon legabi the din of Yovel. The Torah says the Kidashtem es shnas hachamishim shana. Says the Kidashtem Eis Shenas HaChamishim Shana, and Rabbanan Darshan Shenas HaChamishim Atamayna V'I Atamayna Shenas Chamishim V'Achas, that you count 50 years but not 51 years. We can't amru. From here we learned From here, the Chum learned out that Yovel in Yovel Minyan Shavua. It's not included in the Minyan Shavua of the next Shemitah cycle starting after Yovel. But Yehuda says Yovel Oil Minyan Shavua. Yehuda says, and he holds that Yovel goes into the Minyan Shavua, the count of the next Shemitah after Yovel. So the Gemara wants to be Toila, the Shiloh that we had, that is Shnas HaChamishim K'lefnei Chamishim, or is it like the next part of the Chamishim? So it's telling you in Machlokes Yehuda Rabbanan, what is the drasha from the Kidashtem Eis Shnas HaChamishim Shana? Is a part of the prior is a part of the prior 49 years, or is it was the first year of the next Shemitah of the next year? Amrullah, Chacham told Yehuda, Hareyu Omer. It says in the pasuk in the parasha of Shemitah, it says Sheish Shanim Tizra Sadecha, V'Sheish Shanim Tizmar Karmecha, V'Asafto Es Tfuasa, V'Shana Shvi Shabbos Shabbos in Yelaretz. So what do you see from this? So Frek Rabbanan or Yehuda L'Cher Ein Kan Ala Chamesh. Because if the first year, according to Yehuda, is saying that the first year of the next Yovel cycle is considered Yovel, then l'chari you don't have Shei Shanim of Tizra Sadach, you only have 5 Shanim of Tizra Sadach, because the first year of it is Yovel, so you only have 5 years, and then it's going to be Shemitah. Amar Lehem, so Yehuda told back Rabbanon, L'Devreichem, that you hold that this pasuk is talking about the Shemitah that's close to Yovel. L'chari it's pasuk, you have something else shver. Hareyu Omer, it says Chisamim Anoich B'Shana Shvius Heinli in Israel in Esef is Tuasenu. The pasuk says, if you'll say on the 7th year we did not plant, it says V'tzivisis Berchasi Lachem B'Shana Shishas, Hashem will give an extra bracha on the 6th year. V'Asas Hatfua L'Shleish Hashanim. Then the 6th year will grow for 3 years worth. It will grow for the 6th year, and the 7th year, Shnas HaShemitah, and the 8th year, until you cut it. So the L'Cher Shver. In the last Shemitah cycle before Yovel, L'Cher, for Yehuda, Harei Kan Arba, you have 4 years. Why? Because you have the 6th year, you have the Shnas HaShemitah, the 7th year, and then you have the Yovel year after that, which is the 50th year, and then you have the year after that until you could cut. So Ella, Ikalokum Shar Shnei Shavua. Buzayin says Rabbi Yehuda, later on you're going to have to learn that the pasuk's not talking about a Shemitah before Yovel, it's talking about a regular Shemitah cycle. And a Chanami, and if you're in a Yovel, when you have Yovel, you're going to have to add on Tzivisi for Arba Shanim and not Lashlesh Hashanim. So he's saying, Dili Nami, Dr. Yehuda, according to me, Dr. Yehuda, I could also say the pasuk is not talking about. Let's say you ask them, it says Sheishanim Tidasadecha. It's only 5 years if the Yovel is part of the next cycle. So it's not talking about after Yovel. It's talking about a regular Shemitah cycle. However, after Yovel, so you're right. You're only going to have 5 years that you're going to be plant Sadecha. So you're only going to have 5 years to work the field. Zok the Gemara weiter. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah said, Ada Pesach, we had a machlokes Reb Meir B'Yasi. Actually, no. Ada Pesach was not a machlokes. Ada Pesach, we said, is Asar Ad She'egia. Ad She'ehei is Asar Ad She'yetze. Ad Lefnei Pesach, that's when he had a machlokes. The question is what he means. So a mayor said he means Asar Achiyagia until Pesach arrives. But Yossi said he means till a specific point in time in Pesach, and we're not sure what he means, and therefore he says Asar the whole Pesach. So the Gemara is going to ask a steer in the Shittas of Rameir and Yossi. So, the Gemara, Lameir der Rameir Savar Lo Ma'ayal Inish Nafshei L'Sveika. Are you going to tell me that Rameir holds that a person does not bring himself into a suffix, and therefore it's only Asar until Pesach arrives, because he's say for sure he did not mean to Asar himself once Pesach comes in, because that's already getting into a gray area, which is a suffix. So it's like the Gemara, L'Meimer, the Rameir Savar Lo Ma'ayal Inish Nafshei L'Sveika. Rabbi Yossi Savar, Rabbi Yossi holds the opposite. He holds Ma'ayal Inish Nafshei L'Sveika. For a minute, I'll ask you a question from the Gemara Samach Dal on the base. It says, Misha Yesha Shnei Kitei Banos Mishnei Nashim. Somebody that has two sets of daughters from two separate women, two separate wives. Va'amar, and he says in this lashon, he says, Kidashti, I'm mekadosh to one person from my daughters, Espiti Hagadola, my older daughter. And he said at the time of the Kedushin to which one of his older daughters he meant, from which wife. But for any Adea, but he's saying now I don't remember im Gedolah Sheb Gedolas. Is it the older daughter from the older wife that I married, or im Gedolah Sheb Ketanis? Or is it the older daughter from the younger daughter, a younger wife that I married, which is also called the Gedolah, because in her family, although it's from my younger wife, but in her family she's the elder of the two daughters. She's the older of the oldest of the Ketanas. So what's the halacha? What do you do? You don't know who is Mekadosh. The halacha is Kulun Asurus. All the ladies all the daughters are usher to get married until the Mekadosh gives them a get. So the halacha is that they're all usher. Why? Because even the younger one of the elder kat, but she's still older than the two other ones in the younger wife's set of daughters. So halacha is all usher. Divrei Meir. That's where Meir holds. Chutz min aktanas v'aktanas. But the younger one of the set from the younger wife, she's mutter because she's definitely not called gedolah. She's not usher. That's where Meir holds. Rabbi Yossi says no. They're all mutter besides for the gedolah of the older kat. Why? Because we say that a person does not bring himself into suffix, and therefore, since Pshas Kedushin he says B'tia gedolah, so we say for sure his kavana is on the elder one of the elder kat. We say it means the younger one of the older ones, or the older one of the younger kat, then he wouldn't call her a gedolah, because would be a suffix language. So we say no, he means the older of all the four. That's Shitas Rabbi Yossi. So the Chayra, it is a stira to our Mishnah, because what our Mishnah say, what Rabbi Yossi say in our Mishnah, said Ma'ayal Enish Nafselis Veka. A person does bring himself into a suffix when he says something. And what you see over here, what does Rabbi Yossi say here? Ein adam machnas atzmai ein adam ma'ayal Enish Nafselis Veka, and therefore kol mataris, besides the older one. And Tanakama by us says, not like Tanakama in the Mishnah, or Rameir it is, not like Rameir in the Mishnah. Rameir in the Mishnah says that ein adam ma'ayal Enish Nafselis Veka, and over here he holds that you do bring yourself into a suffix. So Rav Chanina bar Avdimi Amar Rav says, simple answer, switch around the shitas over here. V'hatanya, Gemara brings a raya to this. We learned in the raya. It says Zaklal kol shesmane kavua. Anything that has a set time, like Pesach, that it's always going to be 7 days. V'amar ad lefnei, and he says up until anything that has man kavua like that, and he says until ad lefnei, that referring to that time. Meir oimer achi yetzer. Meir says ya'aser achi yetzer, which would imply that Meir is going to shita that ma'ayel enish nafselis veka, and that would stem with the Rameir over here in the Brisa of the Banais, that he says they're all Asar, because Ma'ayel and Nafselis Veka. And Rabbi Yossi says, only Achi Yagia, just like this Rabbi Yossi by the Mishnah of Banais, says Mefurish that they hold not like we thought in our Mishnah Nedarim. Rather, we see like the Mishnah in Kedusha. So now we have a new Mishnah here. The Mishnah is going to say that now that we just finished saying the halachas, if somebody says he's asers himself ad ha-pesach, so now it's going to say that sometimes we have that doesn't make a difference the lashon you say, and in any case you won't be aser only until it arrives. When is that? It's something that it's not a permanent time. So Zaktim Mishnah, what is this case? If somebody says koinim yayin shani time, and he says ad hakotzer, until they cut the wheat, or he says ad habotzer, until they harvest the vineyard, the grapes, ad hamosik, until they press the olives. So what's the halacha? Eini aser ela ad she'egia. You only aser until, even if it says ad she'egia, until ad hakotzer, until they're going to cut it. It's only until that time arrives, but not until it actually gets done. Why? Because the katzir and the butzer, these times, it's not as man kavua like Pesach. It's Pesach, you know when it is, and you know how long it is, and that's it. Because katzir and butzer, it's not a set time, so therefore it's only in those times arrives. Zaklau, Zaktatan in the Mishnah. Kol shazmani kavua v'amar achi yagia. Anything that has a zman kavua, and he says until it reaches Asar Achi Yagiyah, it's only Asar Achi Yagiyah. Amar Achi Yehei, if he says he's asking himself until this thing happens, like Achi Yehei Pesach, then the halach is Asar Achi Yetzer. The Chol She'ein Zmanei Kavua. So again, if it's Zmanei Kavua and he says Achi Yagiyah is Asar Achi Yagiyah, and if he says Achi Yehei is Asar until the Pesach finishes, Achi Yetze. The Chol She'ein Zmanei Kavua, if it's not Zmanei Kavua, so Bein Am Achi Yehei, Bein Am Achi Yagiyah, it doesn't make a difference what lashon he uses. Any Asar El Achi Yagiyah. It's only Asar until it arrives. So in this case, if it's Ein Zmanei Kavua, so it doesn't make a difference what he says. It's only Asar Achi Yagiyah, because we say he does not have because it's something that's doesn't have a set time. We say the kavanah of the noider's intent is not to Asar something like this. Ad hakayitz. What happens if somebody says he's asering wine shani toyim ad hakayitz until the summer, until it comes time of lakitas teinin to fix the figs, to pick figs, and it's not kavor, or he says achi hey hakayitz, or he says so halach is achi eschil lahachnes b'kalkolos once the people bring their figs and they start putting them in its bags and its baskets. So that's the time that it's called that you say that the kayetz arrived, and that's when the neder stops. Then so it stops to become aser. Why? Because again, it's something that is not kavua. If he says achiyaver kayetz, but if he says a little more, a few more words, he adds on. He says until the kayetz passes. So he's trying to say clearly that he wants to wait till it's over. Then the halach is achiyak pilu hamaktsoyas. Then he has to wait till that picking season is totally over. And when is that? When they start putting away the knives that they use to cut the figs, when they made the rings out of it. So when they stop putting away the knives in their holders for the next year, so that's when he say, okay, the kayetz is over and the zman of the neder that he made is finished. Zakta Hela Gemara Tana, we learned Kalkola Sha'amru, Kalkola that it says in the Mishnah, Kalkola Shal Te'enim, V'loi Kalkola Shal Anavim. So it's referring of a Kalkola of Te'enim of figs, but however, it does not have to wait for a Kalkola of Anavim, which that is a different time. Tanya, we learned in a brayso, Hanodim Peres HaKayetz Ein Aser Ela B'Te'enim. If somebody makes a neder in Peres HaKayetz, he's only aser b'te'enim. Shem Gamliel says, Anavim b'chlal te'enim, that grapes is included in figs, and you're also aser b'anavim. If somebody again uses makes a neder and says he's aser in Peres HaKayetz. So Zaktamar, my time in Tanakama, what's the reason in Tanakama you only aser in te'enim? Kasavar, he holds te'enim mikatzam bidah. Te'enim figs get cut by hand, so therefore they're called kayetz. Masha'in kain anavim lo mikatzim bidah. You do not pick them with your hand, rather you pick them with a knife, and it's not called katzitza, and that's what the lashon kayetz comes from. Rather, it's called chaticha, so it's not included in the word kayetz. Kayetz means katzitza, which is really with your hand. So that's the shirish of the lashon kayetz. Shimon Gamliel savar anavim nami kimiradadan mikatzim bidah. Which Gamliel holds the reason why anavim is included in kayetz because anavim, when they dry out, you also can cut them with your hand, and therefore it's included in Peres HaKayetz, and you're also aser in it.